Today I'm going to share with you an NLP technique designed to drastically reduce or even completely clear the anxiety you've been feeling about an upcoming event. So the first thing I'd like you to do is sit down, get comfortable, take some deep breaths and close your eyes. Now I'd like you to visualise your own timeline. That is all the events in your life from the distant past to the distant future. Imagine that line of events passing from behind you in the past, through your body in the present, and stretching out ahead of you into the distant future, with all the events of your life arranged along that line like a string of beads. Just imagine that. Now, still with your eyes closed, I'd like you to imagine that you're floating up above your chair, high up towards the ceiling of the room, and just imagine looking down on yourself in your chair and looking down on your timeline with all the events of your life passing from behind you in the distant past, through your body and ahead of you, ahead and below you into the distant future. And now I'd like you to imagine floating high and forward so that you're directly above the event about which you thought you were anxious. Just float forward above the line so you're above that thing that you've been anxious about. Stay nice and high above the line and now look down on the event as an observer. Just watch the event. Now I'd like you to go 15 minutes further out into the future, high above your timeline, to just beyond the successful conclusion of the event that you thought you were anxious about. Now I'd like you to turn and look back so that you can see everything, all the events in the past resolve in a perfectly positive way. Because that event has turned out in such a positive way, much better than you could possibly have imagined. And as you float above the line, looking back at the way everything has resolved perfectly, I'd like you to ask yourself, where is your anxiety now? Is it less? Has it gone completely? Now I'd like you to float back above the line so that you're above yourself in your chair. And now when you think about whatever it was that was worrying you, there should be little or no anxiety attached to it. If at this point your anxiety is not completely resolved, you can repeat the process. You can go further into the future. Maybe the evening after the conclusion of the event that you were worried about. And look back again and see how everything has resolved in a perfectly positive way. And once your anxiety has resolved, you can float back down into your body in your chair. And you can open your eyes. You may have been doing that technique as I spoke. You may have listened to it and then you could repeat it yourself in the future, and use it to resolve any anxiety that you're feeling. It's something I use myself a lot. It's very, very simple. And I hope it works for you. Do let me know what you think.